Not long after the Civil War, hundreds of black families lived and thrived in Forsyth County, owning their own land and creating wealth. But in 1912, that development came to a halt after a white woman's death, and the black population was forced to virtually disappear. Impacts from the expulsion are still visible today, but Fox 5 anchor Alex Whitler shows us some of the ways people are trying to help Forsyth County reconcile.
1987, Oprah Winfrey came here and did her first road show in Forsyth County, Georgia. And she called Forsyth County, Georgia, the most racist county in America. Our vision is that this county would be known all over the world as the county of love.
Several people in Georgia's richest county will tell you the road to reconciliation is less traveled.
You go into a room and you may see only one or two other black people in the room of 100 people.
Now the ones willing to make the trek are seeing their efforts pay off.
By the grace of God, when I got that scholarship, it really bridged that gap for me.
In the early 1900s, there were several race massacres across the country. Forsyth started here in what was once known as Oscarville. Durwood Sneed, who has lived in Forsyth County for 30 years, hadn't heard about Oscarville until a few years ago as he saw an old sign while out for a drive.
So I Googled it that night and learned this crazy story of things that happened in 1912.
At the time, development in Forsyth's black community was booming, with black people owning nearly 20 million acres.
An 18-year-old white girl was raped and brutalized one night, and they found her body the next day. And then two boys, 16 and 17-year-old, were tried for the crime and convicted and publicly hung, in Cumming.
Families feared for their lives and moved to other counties or even other states, like Chase Evans' family.
Your great-grandmother was one of the hundreds of people who was expelled, if you will, from Forsyth County.
Yes. She was only 3 years old.
His ancestors sought refuge in Northwest Georgia, often attending services at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church to this day.
It's almost, in a sense, inspirational in the sense that, oh my God, look how far they were able to change their lives for the better.
They never returned to Forsyth except for a random car accident in the 1970s that sent Chase's aunts and uncles to a Forsyth County hospital.
And they said, we stabilized you enough to get out. Now you need to be out of here by sundown.
Today, Chase works for Florida's water compliance, thanks in large part to the Forsyth Descendants Scholarship.
They help you, this is how you format your resume, this is how you do an interview.
People have to prove descendancy, and they have to write an essay on the journey of their family after expulsion.
Sneed is one of the scholarship's founders, a dedicated reconciler and former pastor. He started giving descendants what he believes they're due, with reassurance from strangers who would one day become his friends.
You're one of the most stylish guys I know.
Jonathan Hall holds public events for black men new to the county. They share resources and network.
So they can see us and be encouraged and go, oh, I'm not the only one here.
Daniel Blackman founded The Longest Table, an initiative that fosters conversations that spark change.
I don't think there's anyone, whether they agree with what happened or not, would want a part of their history and lineage robbed.
He also spearheaded the movement to place a historical placard where the black men were lynched in 1912 and cleared this black cemetery filled with people who thrived in this county before the racial tension.
We owe it to the people that are buried behind us to remember them and to fight for their descendants that never got a chance to experience the opportunities that they tried to build.
These reconcilers say their efforts are not atonement, they're not reparations, just more steps on this century-plus long road to healing.
If this could happen in Forsyth County, Georgia, going from being the most racist county in America to a county of love, it can happen anywhere.
Alex Whitler, Fox 5 News.
If you have